Hello all you lovely people and welcome to another to buy or not to buy video of mine. Today in this video we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is not just a sequel, it's a love letter to the original, a bold reimagining that expands the world, deepens the characters and throws a narrative grenade into the laps of even the most seasoned fans. This review dives deep into the triumphs and tribulations of this ambitious follow-up. So we're going to talk about all the good things and even the bad things about this game. I'm also going to talk about the performance of this on the PlayStation 5 because this is a PS5 exclusive after all. So stick around till the end of the video because you will be able to make an informed decision whether you should buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth now or later. With that said, let's get started, folks. Rebirth's greatest strength lies in its world building. This time around, the world of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is so much bigger than the first game. You have so many regions now, from the grasslands, where you get to meet so many of the enemy types, different varieties that is. You even get to battle a dragon-like creature called Quetzalcoatl. You've got regions like Junon, Coral, which has the very colorful Costa del Sol, and you can have fun in and around the beach. And overall, it's just a very beautiful looking place. You've got Gongaga, you've got Cosmo Canyon, you've got Nibel, that's a small region in Nibelheim. You've got the Meridian Ocean and also Northwood. Every corner holds secrets to uncover, from hidden side quests to optional bosses that test your combat prowess. So I just mentioned one of those creatures called Quetzalcoatl, but you also get to battle a creature like the Mind Flayer. Yes, if you have played any of the Baldur's Gate titles, then you've even got a Mind Flayer in this game. Isn't that cool? Now, since we are here combating the Mind Flayer, I might as well talk about the combat as well. The core gameplay builds upon the foundation laid by Remake. So this action RPG combat remains a highlight, striking a balance between stylish button mashing and strategic depth. New abilities and party synergies add layers of complexity, encouraging experimentation and teamwork. Battles against iconic creatures like the Mind Flayer or Quetzalcoatl, or even a serpent-like creature called Midgar are exhilarating tests of skill, while showdowns with new threats keep you on your toes. Now, there's also a lot of variety in the way you kind of upgrade your weapons this time around. The whole system of upgrade has been completely revamped because now you can upgrade your skills or movesets from a completely different screen to the first one. So if you're new to this particular game and if you haven't played the first one, well, you're gonna be okay. But if you've played the first one, you might get a little overwhelmed with what's on offer. And I mean it in a good way. Because every time you hear the word overwhelm, it could also mean negative. But in this case, I'm glad to say that it is a positive experience. They have taken the battle system or the combat system of the first game and they have refined it overall. I, however, did miss variety in terms of the weapons. So I did not see as many weapons in my playtime with the game. I don't know if it's just the case with me, or maybe there are hidden areas where I did not get to explore and kind of uncover these weapon types. But the weapon types this time around was comparatively limited. The gameplay, however, is not just limited to combat only, because there's so much more that you can do with this game. Now, there's so many mini games in here that you're going to be spoiled for choice. One of them is the Queen's Blood, which is a strategic card game, and this is a delightful diversion from the main storyline. And I'm just going to give you a very short breakdown of its mechanics and how it enriches your overall gameplay experience. Now, the game takes place on a battlefield divided into 3 lanes. Each player has 5 pawns, one for each lane initially, and these pawns represent the deployment cost of cards. Each card depicts a character, monster, or item from the Final Fantasy VII universe, and they have 2 key stats, power and deployment cost. Power contributes to a lane's total score, while deployment cost determines which lane a card can be placed in. The goal is to have the highest total power in at least 2 lanes at the end of the game. Points are not cumulative across lanes. Each lane is scored independently. Many cards have special effects that activate upon deployment, such as boosting allies' power, hindering opponents, or even replacing weaker cards on the field. The game ends when either all lanes are filled or neither player can play any more cards. The player with the highest power in at least 2 lanes wins the round. Now, Queen's Blood is a well integrated and engaging card game, and it definitely provides this strategic break from the main story, and it deepens world building, offers valuable rewards, and caters to players who enjoy competitive card game mechanics. Fort Condor is one of those other games, mini games, that I enjoyed in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, this offers a strategic tower defense mini game that tests your tactical prowess. I'm not going to talk much about this because there are other mini games as well apart from Fort Condor and Queen's Blood. For instance, you have an ability to play the piano, so you've got piano performances, you've got chocobo racing, you've got a dolphin course as well, which was probably the least favorite from all these mini games that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has to offer. Since we are talking about the gameplay aspects, I also wanted to talk about Chadley, the researcher from Final Fantasy VII. Well, he makes a return in Rebirth, and they have actually doubled down on Chadley. Because it's not just Chadley, but there's another character called Mai, very similar to Chadley, who will also aid you in all your combat information or data that you gather. Chadley's role is more crucial this time around, because you remember how he helped you get the summon materia in the previous game? Well, the same applies here as well, but there's a lot more that you can do with your titans. So when you summon your titan, you also have special areas where you've got to go and you've got to level up your titan, and Chadley will help you do that. So there's a little more dynamic that they have added to the titans, to the summon materia, and apart from that, you've also got to uncover these satellite-like towers. Now what they help you do is they help you understand what the area around the tower offers. So you will be able to see activities that you need to do in and around that satellite tower. So Chadley's role has become a little more crucial in this game. Some people may like it, some people may not like it. While I was okay with it, but I just thought I'll give my 2 cents about Chadley as well, because he contributes to the overall gameplay. Let me also quickly talk about the story of the game. Rebirth's narrative throws caution to the wind. It deviates significantly from the original, offering surprising twists and turns that will leave fans both excited and bewildered. While some changes enhance the story's emotional impact, others feel contrived or leave plot threads dangling. The ending, while leaving room for the next installment, might leave some players frustrated with its lack of resolution. So this may also seem like one of those Marvel movies where they're just trying to build up the cinematic universe. Some people, again, may like that kind of an approach, and some people may just not like that kind of an approach. Now, I was somewhere in between, but yeah, it does give you a little bit of a backdrop of some of the characters. For instance, Barrett. You even get to see Barrett with hands for a change. There is a lot more of the villainous characters this time around, like Scarlet. And at the heart of all of this is a very complicated multiversal story. Yes, you heard me right. There is this concept of a multiverse as well. I don't want to spoil too much about the story, but this whole thing can get a little complex and complicated, is what I can say. So you've really got to put your head into this game and really follow the story. Otherwise, you may get lost because it's too ambitious, and sometimes they don't necessarily bring everything together cohesively. So it leaves you dangling in and around some areas. So the story can be a hit or a miss this time around. But my biggest complaint with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the performance issues. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well or not, but I do want to mention how I personally feel that the quality of this particular game is comparatively inferior to the first part. Why is that the case? Because when you play this game on the different modes that are available, by the way, there are 3 modes that are available. One is the graphic mode. The second one is a performance but balanced mode. And then you finally have a performance smooth mode as well. When you play it on performance smooth mode, everything looks very blurry and pixelated, and there's this shimmering kind of an effect, especially around trees, grass, and even the character's hair. So I did not face this kind of a problem with the previous game, because in the previous game, when I put it on a performance mode, the visual fidelity of the game was still intact. But this time with Rebirth, as soon as you put it on performance smooth or performance balanced, then you are immediately going to notice the deterioration in terms of the visual fidelity. And this is my biggest gripe with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Let me know in the comment section if you have felt the same or not. I was personally playing this game on the graphical mode, meaning that I was only getting 30 FPS from the game. I did have a workaround for this because on my TV, I took the judder reduction all the way up to 10. That means there's motion smoothing that I was using. And I turned the game mode off on my Hisense U7H. Now, it came with its own set of problems, but it definitely allowed me to experience the game in all its glory, meaning I was running it at its peak visual fidelity. And apart from that, I was also getting this simulated 60 FPS. But the issue that came along with that is that you will see some kind of ghosting on your TV. So if you're okay with that, do try that out as well. If your television supports MEMC, which is motion estimation, motion compensation, and if you can smooth out frames on your television, you can probably try it out and let me know in the comment section. But that is what I was playing this game on, which is the graphical mode and game mode turned off on my TV. And I have big complaints about the performance mode, whether it's your balanced or your smooth mode. Alright folks, so let's bring this all together. Rebirth isn't without its flaws. The open world, while gorgeous, can become a double-edged sword, because traversing vast distances can feel like a chore, especially during backtracking segments. Pacing issues also rear their head, because some areas are densely packed with content, while others feel bloated with repetitive side activities. This can lead to decision fatigue, especially for completionists. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is definitely a visually stunning and narratively ambitious sequel. It delivers a fresh take on a beloved story with fantastic combat and character development. If you loved Final Fantasy VII Remake and are open to a bold reimagining, Rebirth is a must play. It's a sprawling adventure full of surprises even for veterans. However, if you prefer a tighter narrative or are wary of significant changes, you might want to approach with caution. Rebirth is a glorious reunion with the world of Final Fantasy VII. Be prepared for a roller coaster ride with its fair share of bumps, I would say. Well, that's my 2 cents about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I personally think that this is a game that you should get, especially if you've played the first part. It is a must buy. You should buy it immediately because it helps you continue the story of all our favorite heroes like Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, Barret. There's even Red this time around, and there's our very funny and youthful Yuffie, who's also the humorous heart of the game. I'm also going to throw in one last thing in there. Now this is like the icing on the cake, and I'm sure if you're fans of Aerith and Tifa, you're going to love it. You are going to be able to see them in their swimsuits as well in the game. And how do you get that? Well, you've got to do some mini game as part of the exploration in the Coral Island or the Costa del Sol, and you will be able to secure these swimsuits. I'm sure if you're fans of these ladies, then yes, you would look forward to seeing them in their swimsuits. So that's another bonus reason as to why you should download Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that's it for this video, folks. If you've liked the content, then I would greatly appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel and also hitting that like button along with that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. It's a wrap for this one, folks, and I'll see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, I'll say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.